The 17th Adhyaya is the Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga through the discerning the three types of faith. The 17th Adhyaya helps us to understand one's faith and its influence on actions, as well as the importance of cultivating a sattvic nature and pursuing spiritual practices with purity and devotion. In this Adhyaya, Lord Krishna elaborates on the three types of faith or our belief systems and how they influence human actions, attitudes, and the quality of our lives. Faith is an important part of an individual as it leads to belief systems, thoughts, and leads us to actions according to faith. Thus, faith determines our life, and all its actions, in essence, determines our personality and our character. The purpose of the 17th Adhyaya is to guide individuals in understanding the nature of faith, its different types, and how it influences our approach to life and spirituality. Krishna explains the threefold divisions of food, ahara, sacrifices, yagna, tapa, austerities, and dana, charity, based on the different types of faith. This Adhyaya highlights the faith along with corresponding actions and offerings should be in alignment with our higher principles and values. It advises individuals to cultivate sattvic qualities, practice self-discipline, truthfulness, purity, and prefer and nourishing food in their spiritual practices. The Adhyaya begins with Arjuna's question. He asked Lord Krishna about the characteristics of those who perform religious sacrifices and rituals with faith, but do not strictly adhere to the scriptural instructions. In the final verse of the 16th Adhyaya, Krishna told Arjuna to uphold the scriptures as the highest evidence and perform all the duties and work accordingly. Arjuna's question stems from this statement. He says, Yashastra vidim utsurjya yajante shraddhayan vitaha. One who works without the following the rituals of the scripture, but one who works with faith, shraddhaya anvitaha, tesham nishtha tuka Krishna. O Krishna, what is their dedication? Sattvam raja aho tamaha. Sattva, rajas or tamah. What is that? Is it Daivi or Asuri Sampati as he has described in the previous Adhyaya, the 16th Adhyaya? Arjuna's question is a very valid question. People who have knowledge of the scriptures and follow them based on their faith are far and few. Many have no knowledge of the scriptures or even faith in the scriptures, whereas most of us who do not know the scriptures well but have faith in the ancient tradition and follow them with utmost faith, whatever they have seen as traditional family values, morals, and ethics, they tend to follow with faith. These people are not lazy and are committed to their actions with faith. Arjuna wants to know whether this tendency is sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Shri Krishna responds by explaining the threefold divisions of faith. Trividha bhavati shraddha dehinam sa swabhavaja. There are three types of faith in humans, which is according to their inherent nature. Sattviki, rajasi cha ev tamasi eti tam shrunu. Sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic, now you listen from me. Instead of giving a direct answer to Arjuna's question, Krishna shows three types of faith. As is our faith, as is our commitment, nishtha. Thus, faith is important in our life for our beliefs and our behavior. The base of our faith is our inherent nature. Krishna says there are three types of faith based on our inherent nature. Trividha bhavati shraddha swabhavaja. Faith is according to our nature, which is formed due to our past impressions, samskara. Previous karma leads to impressions, and this forms our belief systems, shraddha, due to our faith. Our spiritual journey is to elevate these past impressions, samskara. The three types of faith Krishna elucidates are sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Krishna describes the role of faith in human life and says, Sattva anurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata. O Arjuna, faith is synonymous to the state of their mind of the persons. Shraddhamaya ayam purushaha. These humans are filled with faith and emotions. Yah shraddha sa eva saha. And whatever is our faith, that becomes our personality. So Krishna describes the important role of faith that it plays in our personality and our character. The seat of faith, the mind, antah karana, is created from the Sattva Guna, which is the memory card, as it stores all the memories of our past experiences and forms the impressions. And based on these impressions, we develop our thoughts, actions, behaviors, and habits. Humans are determined by their faith. Bhagavan says, Shraddha Maya Aham Purushaha. People are determined by their faith in life, and faith is therefore the foundation of life as it forms our belief systems. Faith is the predominant driver of our actions. Those who have faith in the scriptures and higher power or God are called Astika, whereas who endeavor to know the truth, whereas those who do not have such a faith are Nastika. Thus, as is the faith, as is the person. Krishna says there are three types of faith: Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic faith. And what are these three faiths and how are they manifested in life? Krishna answers in the next verse. Yajante Sattvika Devan. Sattvic people, they devote to Devas. Yaksharakshansi Rajasaha. The Rajasic people devote to Yakshas and the demons, the Rakshasa. Pretan Bhuta Gana Charnya Yajante Tamasa Janaha. It says Tamasic devote to the evil spirits or ghosts. So Sattvic people yearn for peace and satisfaction. They have a faith in the higher power and therefore they devote to the Devtas or the deities. The Rajasic people yearn power, position and material possessions. Therefore they devote to Yakshas and demons or Rakshasas. Whereas the Tamasic people, out of ignorance, believe in evil spirits and black magic, and therefore they devote to the ghosts and the evil spirits. Thus our faith determines our personality. How moderation is important in faith and devotion, Krishna describes in the next two verses. Even sattvic actions, if done improperly, can become tamasic. Bhagavan says, Ye janaha ashastra vidhitam goram tapah tapyante. Those who perform the harsh austerities which are against the scriptures, damba ahankara sanyuktaha, which are done for the purpose of hypocrisy and pride, kamaraga balanvitaha, which are inspired by desires and attachments, mostly selfish desires. Many people go on extremes in their faith and their actions. Krishna always glorifies the path of moderation, samatva, and says that harsh austerities of any kind, even if they are done sattvic in the form of austerities, tapa, are not conducive for our spiritual growth, especially when they are against the rituals prescribed in the scriptures. Those who are involved in such rituals just for showing off, to become a hypocrite, or for their enhancing their own self-pride, inspired only by their self-desires and attachments, these do not yield the desired results. What are the outcomes of such austerities? Krishna describes harsh austerities pain the Almighty within. He says, Achetasaha bhutagramam sharirastham mam eva anta sharirastham karshayantaha. Those unaware, those achetasaha, those who emaciate their body by harsh austerities, they really pain me, Bhagavan says, who dwells inside the body of all the beings. Thana vidhi asura nishchayan, and know certainly that these are devilish tendencies. Few of us go on to extremes of path wherever we have faith or belief. For example, someone wants to do a fast or wants to lose weight, will go to extreme fast, which hurts their body. Similarly, one who wants to build his or her body will go to extreme levels of weightlifting or exercise to make a very, very strong physical body. Such endeavors hurt the divine who dwells within each one of us. Krishna says, such austerities, harsh austerities, pains me, who dwells inside the heart of all the beings as Antaryami. All throughout in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna praises the middle path, the Madhyam path, the path of balance or samatva, not the extremes. Human body is invaluable and it is our responsibility that we should take utmost care of this body as it is our vehicle for life. It is an important instrument to attain the worthy goals of our life. Beautifying the body is definitely not the final goal, as the body is only the means to the end. The rules we make for discipline should be moderate and flexible, not harsh and rigid. Balance, samatva is essential in our life. Even some rules and discipline are important, but they should not become rigid. The purpose of austerities, tapa, is to create self-discipline by developing a control over our senses, indriya sanyama, and therefore balance of food, ahara, yagna, karma, and austerities, tapa, are essential. Krishna describes them in the next verse. Krishna describes the threefold divisions of food, yagna, austerities and charity. Ahara tu api sarvasya trividha bhavati priyaha. There are three types of diet based on the type of people who like them. Yagna tapah tatha danam tesham bhedam imam shrunu. Similarly, for yagna, penance and charity, there are three types of, I'll describe them for details for you, and you listen to all these differences from me. Krishna tells Arjuna. Krishna describes many issues of daily life which are important for us, which we need to become aware of and regulate to create a harmony and balance in our life and to progress on the spiritual journey. Our food and diet preferences are the foremost, as most of us enjoy diet and have very specific likes and dislikes of particular diets. Similarly, we enjoy activities or actions and are also interested in self-restraint and helping others by way of charity. In the next few verses, Krishna describes the three types of dietary preferences, the three types of yagnas, and the three types of tapa and dana, sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Starting with, he first describes what is sattvic food or sattvic ahara. He says, ahara sattvika priya. Sattvic people like these kind of food. Ayuhu, which increases the lifespan, which is nutritious. Sattva bala arogya, nurtures the intellect and nourishes the body, which is healthy food. Sukha priti vivardhanaha, increases the happiness and peace of our mind. Rasya snigdha, which is tasty, which is non-sticky, which is well lubricated. Sthira arudhya, which gives satiety and which gives inner joy to that person. People with sattvic tendencies prefer sattvic food. Krishna describes the characteristics of sattvic food. Such food is healthy, nutritious, which increases the lifespan, which is balanced, contains adequate calories, adequate proportion of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, which nourishes the body well and the mind and intellect too. It is taken in an adequate amount so that it gives peace and happiness to the person, keeps him alert and agile. Such a kind of food is well lubricated by adequate proportions of ghee or oil, neither too dry nor too sticky, and is made tasty with adequate proportions of condiments also to provide satiety to the person. Now Krishna describes the rajasic ahara or rajasic food. Ahara rajasasya ishtaha. Rajasic people are fond of such kind of food. Atikatu amla lavana ushnaha, which is very bitter, very sour, very hot by temperature. Tikshna rukshna vidahinaha, which is very hot in terms of chilies, very dry to eat and very spicy. Dukkha shokamaya pradaha, which produces pain, sorrow and diseases. Many of the dietary preferences produces many difficulties or diseases in life. Excess of salt, sugar, oil, chili, fried food, fatty food and fast food containing wheat flour is unhealthy when consumed in large proportions. Very bitter, sour or hot foods are also unhealthy because they can also create some diseases. These preferences produce lifestyle disorders like acidity, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, constipation. Such dietary preferences produce much pain and suffering by creating or exacerbating these diseases. Now Krishna describes the tamasic ahara, the tamasic food. Bhojanam tamasapriyam, such food is dear to tamasic people. Yatayamam gatarasam, which is improperly cooked, which is tasteless. Puti parushitam yachayata, which smells awful and is preserved, which is not freshly prepared. Uchishtam apicha amedhyam, which is impure, which is eaten by others and which cannot be offered to the Lord. Improperly cooked or preserved food for a long time, tasteless food is considered tamasic ahara. Food which is eaten by others, something very pungent, non-vegetarian, which cannot be offered to the God, is also considered as tamasic food. The rajasic and the tamasic food does affect the body and the mind adversely and creates suffering in life. Krishna talks about many important aspects in this Adhyaya which can help us to improve our habits and attitudes by creating self-awareness about what we are eating. Gita ji shows us a different worldview, how we can create a change in our life by adopting healthy lifestyle practices and spirituality. This can happen only with a continuous improvement, with a new understanding that develops in our life. With self-reflection and corrective actions, change happens slowly, but it does take some time. Food is important for all of us. Most of us are foodies, and therefore Krishna targets our weakness and shows the sattvic, rajasic and the tamasic type of food. The sattvic diet is the goal, even if we like or enjoy the rajasic or the tamasic food, if we need to cultivate healthy habits. Now, Krishna shows three types of yagna karma. First, he describes the sattvic yagna. Satvika yagna. He says this is known as sattvic yagna. Aphala akankshi bihi yaha ijyate. The one who performs these kind of yagnas without any desire for the fruits of the actions. Vididrashtaha, which performs the yagnas as shown in the scriptures. Yashtavyam eva iti manah samadhaya. I should do it, it is my duty, is what the person firmly believes or decides in his or her own mind. In the third Adhyaya Karma Yoga, Krishna describes what we should all do as our actions, as yagna karma, as a karma yoga bhavana. In the Vedic times, many yagna were being performed by doing Vedic karma. Today's times, all actions which are beneficial to many, which improves happiness and which can be called yagna karma. It is a sattvic karma done for the betterment of the large number of people rather than targeted at self-benefit alone. Such actions are done selflessly without the desire for particular results or outcomes, as it is done out of duty as my dharma. If done carelessly, such actions can become rajasic or tamasic. Now Krishna describes the rajasic yagna. Tam yagnam vidhi rajasam. Know this as a rajasic yagna. Abhisandhaya tu phalam. Eva eta yata ijjate bharata shreshta. O Arjuna, which is done by keeping only the fruits of the desires or the results as the final goal. Dambhartham yapicha. And which is done for damba, for showing off, for false pride or for praise. Rajasic yagna or actions are the one where the focus is on the outcomes rather than the efforts. The outcomes are also for limited means for one's own self-desires or limited benefits. It is more for personal gains and personal aggrandizement. Such self-oriented actions are called Rajasic Yagna. Now Krishna describes what is Tamasic Yagna. Yagnam tamasam parichakshate. He says such are called the Tamasic Yagna. Vidihinam asrushtanam, which are done without the need methods shown in the scriptures and done without offering any food to the Brahmins. Mantrahinam adakshayanam, which is done without proper chanting of mantras, without any gifts or dakshina to the Brahmins. Shraddha virahitam, and which is done without any faith in the scriptures, guru or the God. Krishna describes the characteristics of the tamasic yagna or actions. These are done by one's own personal whims and fancies without following the rituals that are described in the scriptures. They are done without faith and without sharing the fruits with others, just for the sake of doing them. And this kind of yagna do not produce any elevating fruit or punya. Now Shri Krishna describes the three types of tapa, which are done by the body, by mind and by speech. Firstly, Krishna describes the austerities of the body, the sharira tapa. Shariram tapa ujjate. He says this is the austerity of the body which is done Deva Dvija Guru Pragna Pujanam, which is done by worshipping the gods, the Brahmin, the teacher and the wise person. Shaucham, which adheres to the purity, the outer as well as the inner purity. Arjavam, with simplicity in actions and gentleness. Brahmacharyam, which is done with sense pleasures. Ahimsamcha, and practicing non-violence. So austerities or tapa done by the body require the practice of self-restraint by adhering to the principles of the purity of the body and mind, practicing non-violence, not resorting to any harm to any being by thought, words or action is an important element of self-restraint. Demonstrating humility by worshipping and surrendering to the gods is an essential part of the physical tapas. Giving respect to elders, the knowledgeable teachers and the wise people is also a very important part of self-restraint. Worship and devotion to the Lord is an important means for self-purification. Brahmins protect the Vedas and the knowledge, and therefore their respect is important to respect the knowledge. Respect to the Guru with faith, Guru Puja, is important as the Guru is a prerequisite for the divine knowledge. Respect to the wise and saints, Pragna Puja, is also important to imbibe the knowledge from them. What should be our restraint in speech or control over our speech? The Vachik Tapa, Bhagavan describes in the next verse. Vangmayam Tapa Uchyate. He says these are called the verbal austerities. Anudvegakaram vakyam, words we should speak which are not painful to others, they don't disturb others. Satyam priyam cha hitam yata, which are true, which are lovable, which are nice, and which are hitam, beneficial, hitakari. Swadhyaya abhyasanam cha eva, and regular study of scriptures is also vachik tapa in the eyes of the Lord. So words are like arrows, and we all know that they create more harm than our actions or our expressions. Krishna describes what should be our restraint while we speak, what kind of words we should use while we are in communication. We should use words which are soothing to others, which do not upset them. Anudvegakaram. We should think before speaking rather than just repenting later. Words that we must use must be honest and truthful, satyam, not twisted just to make others happy, not flowery language. We should present the truth in a way that it does not cause pain to others. Our words should be pleasant, priyam. They should be nice. Truth is not always pleasant to hear, and therefore to say the truth with a calm and appropriate words is an art which very few can master. Words are very powerful to cast spell on the people, and therefore should be chosen well. We should use words which are beneficial to me as well as others, hitakari. Shankara says only when all these four are present, it is called austerity of the speech or the vangmaya tapa. Our words should be truthful, pleasant, soothing, and beneficial to others. Krishna describes the restraint of the mind, the manasik tapa. Tapa manasam uchyate. This is called penance of the mind. Manah prasada saumyatvam. He says the peace of mind, a pleasing personality. Maunam, silence. Atma vinigraha, to be aware about our thoughts, decisions. Bhava sanshuddhi iti etat, having purity of emotions and feelings. The entire spiritual journey is to create a calm and a pure mind. Therefore, create a balanced mind is important. Creating a peace of mind in itself is self-control, manah prasada. We need to take care of our mind and intellect more than our physical body, as mind is the master of the body. Our mind controls our actions and behavior, and therefore is the master. We are what our mind is, and it becomes our personality. Mind is actually a wonderment, very unpredictable, creates waves of emotional ups and downs, something sometimes without our understanding. Everyone wants peace of mind, which is lasting, not just temporary. Such a lasting peace gives a joy which is difficult to describe. Therefore, we need to take care of our mind and always keep it at peace, which will provide us the infinite joy. Control or balance of our mind is not an easy task, needs a lot of thought, vichara, understanding and self-observation to restrain our mind. To remain happy in all situations is not an easy task, as all of us have experienced. Gurma says there are several ways to control our mind. The first step is to practice not to try to change others for what I cannot. There are many situations in life where I do not have a choice. These situations are not under my control, and I must endeavor not to try and change them, rather accept them and then do our best in the given circumstance. On the other hand, there are many situations in life which are under my self-control, and in these situations I should try to do my best efforts to try to change whatever I can. The true wisdom is to discern which are the situations within my control and which are not. I cannot have all situations as per my liking, therefore I can develop an attitude that I like what I get and I enjoy what I have. I did not complain when everything was fine. Why now? A positive attitude that I have been given so much in life, to have a gratitude in what I have, and what I have is soothing for the mind. You should endeavor to be happy and try to make others happy too. Gurma recommends many positive attitudes to have peace of mind. The attitude of gratitude, to avoid complaining in choiceless situations of my life, is a positive and a creative attitude. It brings out the best in us. There always is a light at the end of the tunnel. We need to surrender to the immense supernatural power and accept what is and what I receive as a result or outcome. We can be a witness to this grand drama of life, a mute, silent spectator to the events unfolding. We should endeavor to live in the present moment. not brood over the past or have anxiety for the future. We should not postpone healthy resolutions for life change. We should try to elevate ourselves or change ourselves step by step, as this is a gradual process. In spite of circumstances, we can have an attitude that I'm happy, fir bhi main khush in any given situation. We can learn to talk to our own mind like a child and make it like our own friend. Understanding that wealth only gives comforts, not lasting happiness or peace. Finally, teachings of Gita Ji that practice of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, self-realization are the goals of life. Now Krishna describes these three types of austerities, tapa, of the body, mind and the speech, as sattvic, rajasic and tamasic, totaling to 9 different types of tapa. First, Krishna describes the sattvic tapa or the sattvic austerity. Sattvikam tapa parichakshate. He says this is sattvic penance. Tat trividam naraihi. When these 3 penance are shraddhaya paraya taptam, done with utmost faith, aphala kangshibihi yuktaihi, and without desires for the fruits of the actions. In the eyes of Krishna, all actions done with faith and done without having a firm attachment to the outcomes or without firmly determining the results are sattvic actions. Faith is needed in the divine, in the scriptures and in the teacher and in one's own capacities to achieve the success. Whenever any action is done with a desire for a particular outcome or a fixed result in mind, these are not desirable actions. In the eyes of Krishna, when our mind and energies are fixed only on the actions being performed, while these karma done with the body, mind or words are done with utmost dedication, sincerity and awareness, then these are elevating karma or yagna karma. Now Krishna describes the rajasic tapa. Rajasam tapa tat iha proktam. This is rajasic tapa when it is said satkaramana pujartham, when it is done with expectation of praise, respect, dambhena eva yat kriyate, and it is done with hypocrisy, with damba. Chalam adruvam. The root fruits of these actions are impermanent or temporary. When any karma done with the body, mind and speech is done with some expectation of return, especially in terms of material benefits, these actions are rajasic karma. Whenever any karma done to show off our material possessions or done for increasing our pride or ego or for the expectation of some form of appreciation or reverence, then these are also rajasic tapa. For all the activities done for the worldly outcomes which are transient, that is, they will come and go, whether it is pain or pleasure, then these actions are called rajasic karma, tapa. Now Bhagavan describes the tamasic tapa. Tat tamasam udayutam. This is called tamasic tapa, mudagrahena atmanaha, which is done with obsession and unawareness. Yat pidaya kriyate tapaha, which is causes pain or suffering to the body. Parasya utsadarartham va, or gives pain and misery to others. Any activities for self-restraint done with rigid obsessions which are irrational, without any basis, without any awareness of the self or surroundings are tamasa tapa. These activities, words or thoughts may be detrimental to one's own self or to others around us. This kind of karma done for self-restraint is called tamasic tapa. Now Krishna describes the 3 types of charity. Sattvic dana, sattvic charity. Datavyam iti yad danam, which is done as my duty, as I should do it. Diyate anupakarine, which is done without expectation of return. Deshe kale cha patre cha, which is done in an appropriate place, appropriate time and to a needy or a deserving person. Charity or donation as helping others by giving up our own possessions is considered to be a very noble gesture. Krishna describes 3 types of donations. The highest and the most celebrated type of philanthropy is the secret donation, which is done by thinking it is my duty to share with others, as everyone in the universe also shares with others, and that is how the universe works. This kind of donation is not done with an expectation of some favors in return. Most of the times when we give up, there is some subtle expectation of return in the form of appreciation, recognition, name, fame or tax benefits. Also, scriptures prescribe that ideal donation is the one which is done for the most deserving and the needy, rather than feeding the ones who are already fed. What is rajasic donation? Rajasadana. Yattu pratyupakarartham, which is done with expectation of return. Phalam uddishya va punaha, which is done in mind with the fruits again and again. diyache cha pariklishtam, and which is done with hesitation, with anguish in the mind. Any donation done with expectation of return, done with the results in mind, done with the two minds, with doubts, with some force, is a Rajasic charity. Guruma says at least we should begin with Rajasic donation and then to reach the Sattvic charity. What is Tamasic dana? Adesha kala yat danam, which is done given to an inappropriate place and time. Apatrebhyascha diyate, done to an undeserving person. Asatkrutam, done without respect to elders. Avagnatam, done with the disrespect to the other person. Any gifts given to improper person or an inappropriate time, place qualifies for tamasic charity. Also, any donations done with disrespect to the opposite party is also a tamasic donation. Now in the concluding verses, Lord Krishna encourages Arjuna and all seekers to cultivate a sattvic faith that is rooted in selflessness, devotion, and finally then how to transcend the limitations of the three types of faith to develop a deep understanding of the knowledge of the Supreme. He assures that those who develop this kind of faith and engage in selfless actions will attain the eternal peace and liberation. Firstly, Bhagavan describes the three names of the Supreme Divinity as Om Tat Sat. He says, Om Tat Sat iti nirdashaha brahmana trividha smrutaha. Om Tat and Sat are the three indicators of the names of the eternal divine, the Brahman. Tena Pura, from that Brahman, at the creation of the universe, Brahmana, Veda cha Yagna cha Vihitaha. Brahmins, Vedas and Yagnas all were created from this Brahman. The entire creation, including humans, all species, scriptures and Yagnas are all created from the Creator, the most intelligent Creator, the Supreme Divinity. There are many different forms of the divine. The highest form is a formless divinity called Brahman in Vedanta. When the same divine accepts the material of the three gunas, Sattva, the mode of goodness, Rajas, the mode of passion, and Tamas, the mode of ignorance, then as Ishvara, God, they become the one instrumental and material cause of the creation. Attaining the divine is the final goal of mankind and all the seekers. The purpose of describing the three modes of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas is firstly to get into the Sattva mode from the Rajas and the Tamas, and finally transcending the three modes to know firmly the supremely divine Brahman. Devotion to Almighty in the form of chanting of God's name makes all the actions complete. Om, Tat and Sat are the three names of God in Upanishad. Om is a one word, Ekakshari Nam of the name of the God. Chanting of these names provides us with an acceptance and forgiveness towards all situations in life. Now Krishna describes when Omkar is chanted. Tasmat Om iti udhayutya. Therefore, by chanting Om, when all the Yagna, Dana, Tapa, Kriyaha, when all these Yagna, charity, Tapa are done, Vidhanokta, according to the rituals described in scriptures, Satatam Brahmavadinam Pravartante. People who are committed to Brahman always begin all their actions by chanting Om. Om consists of three syllables, A, U and Ma. It is a one-word name of the God, Ekakshari Nam, denotes both the form, the Saguna, and the formless, the Nirguna Swarupa of the Almighty. Om describes all forms of God. It's a Saguna Vachaka and also indicates the formless Brahma. It is a Nirguna Nirdesha. The three letters indicate the three states of daily awareness, the awake, dream and the deep sleep state, and the three types of our bodies, the Sthula, Sukshma and the Karana Sharira, and the entire universe. The silence after Om chant with no syllable, Amatra, indicates the formless divine. Saints and the wise extensively use Om as part of acceptance and surrender to the divine. Now Krishna says when Tat is used, Tat iti anabhisandhaya phalam, by connecting to the Lord without any expectation of the result, Yagna tapah kriyaha, dana kriyaha cha vividhaha, doing actions such as Yagna, Tapa, Penance, charity and various other actions, kriyante moksha kangshibihi, for the purpose of self-liberation or self-knowledge. Seekers who are on the path of the selfless actions, Karma Yoga, connect with the divine by surrendering all their actions to the Lord and accept whatever results of the action they receive as an offering from the God, Prasada Buddhi. Their final goal is to purify themselves and attain self-realization with knowledge, liberating themselves from the universe consisting of the three gunas. Tat denotes the supreme divinity. Even in the great words of Upanishad, Mahavakya, Tattvam Asi denotes the supreme divinity. When is Sat used? Sat Shabda Partha Yujjate, Sad Bhave, the existence of all is due to the Lord. Sadhu Bhave, when does Sat action with kind intentions. Prashaste Karmani Tatha, involved in noble and selfless actions. Sat iti yat etat prayujjate. This word Sat is used in these ways. Sat essentially means to be. The existence or easiness of everything in this universe is due to the divine. This is Sat, the supremely divine, which is eternal and always existent. When we help, inspire, or are compassionate, we feel the one with the divine. All good, kind actions are called Sat. For example, good actions are called Sadachara, Sat Achara. When is now Yagna, Tapa and charity called Sat? When one comes to the end of this 17th Adhyaya, here the word Sat means auspicious or truly beneficial. Yagne tapasi dane cha sthiti sat iti cha eva avidhiyate. The commitment in selfless action, penance and charity is known as Sat. Karma cha eva tata arthiyam, tadarthiyam. Actions which are performed for the Almighty, for the selfless desires, for the benefit of the large. Sat iti cha uchyate. Then this is known as Sat. Anything done for the divine, done selflessly is called Sat. When person is filled with purity, Sat, he is or she is connected to the divine. And finally, in the final verse, Krishna answers, when is Yagna, Tapas and Dana karma called Asat? Means it is not elevating, it creates a downfall. Asat iti uchyate partha. Oh Arjuna, this is known as Asat. Ashraddaya hutam daptam tamah tapam krutam chayata. When all the obeisance, ahuti, donations, penance and actions are done without faith, ashraddaya, no iha nacha tat pretya, and it does not get any benefit or result in this world or after death in any other loka. All actions done without faith and not offered to the Almighty are called asat. It does not fulfill the objective of the human life. There is no accumulation of virtue, punya. The 17th Adhyaya started with and ends with faith, Shraddha. How important it is. Faith in the Almighty is one of the biggest weapons to overcome the ups and downs of life. It is also therefore said that faith can move mountains. Faith is considered very important and is the foundation of Vedic life. For its yagna, tapa, dana and karma, all these are based on faith. Lack of faith, ashraddha, is an obstacle on the spiritual path. For many of the subjects like Vedas describe the karma, karma phala, the gati, the onward journey, the Ishvara, the dharma, what is the righteous way of life, Brahma, for all these only the Vedas are the evidence. Therefore we need to have faith and also use our intellect. The seeker needs to mature, nurture faith in the Guru, scriptures and the Lord. To summarize, the three types of faith that Krishna shows in this chapter are the modes of goodness, the sattvic, the mode of passion, the rajasic, and the mode of ignorance, tamasic, based on the three modes of the material natures or the gunas that influence human behavior. The final goal is to transcend all these three modes to attain the divine. The sattvic faith is rooted in goodness, purity and knowledge. People with sattvic faith worship celestial beings, practice self-discipline, truthfulness, cleanliness and prefer pure and nourishing food. Whereas the rajasic faith is driven by passion, desire and attachment. Individuals with rajasic faith worship powerful but egoistic beings or entities, engage in ostentatious rituals, perform sacrifices which desire for rewards and prefer spicy and rich food. The tamasic faith is characterized by ignorance, delusion and laziness. Those with tamasic faith worship dark forces or engage in harmful practices, perform sacrifices without following the described rituals, prefer impure and stale food and lack self-discipline. The overall message of this Adhyaya is to cultivate a sattvic nature, choose actions that are beneficial and in harmony with the universal principles, and perform spiritual practices with the purity, sincerity and devotion to transcend the three types of faith to attain the divine. With this we come to the end of the 17th Adhyaya. Om Tat Sata Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Saptadashodhyayah.